And we're back.
So,
First power went out.
yeah, as someone was messing with the light circuit, he actually tripped the earth leakage. Yay.
Why would you do this?
He's installing a light.
Most
Alright.
people just, would turn off the circuit that it's on, install the light, and then turn it back on again.
Yeah, he did, but apparently he somehow managed to trick the whole emergency leakage anyway. How? I don't know. Right, where were we up to? Mass
I don't
Effect.
know.
We just finished talking
Yeah,
about
you're-
Mass Effect.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, let's move on to whatever we were talking about next.
Okay, next game on the list is Loop Hero, which we don't know much really about because
It looked really boring to me. I'm
Oh.
sorry, it's just not my thing.
the presentation was weird because they made this big deal of it being Devolver kind of coming out and making their big announcement. But it wasn't to the usual levels of madness that Devolver presentations usually are, and I'm sad about that.
I mean, Nina didn't shoot the audience or the skybox or her assistants this time.
Or herself? No, she didn't kill anybody.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
it was
Doesn't
all
sound like
kind of
Devolver.
It does not sound like neither
Well,
Struggles.
remember that this indie studio now, they're a big corporate, so they've got to act as such.
Yeah. I mean, she was still incredibly sarcastic about the whole Game Awards thing. Essentially, she gave
True.
herself a whole bunch of awards just for turning up.
Yeah, and I do feel like they were poking the actual game awards in the eye.
Yeah, it's why I do still appreciate Devolver, because they don't take themselves overly seriously. Or at least give that presentation. So, Loop Hero, we don't know a whole lot about it, other than it's something involving time loops.
Yeah.
And it's pixely because, Devolver.
It's not cruise control for cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What? Okay, so that's that. Next game is Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. It looks like Ghosts and Goblins. What more can you really say?
Yeah.
Does it have Siggy in it?
Maybe. Probably. I mean, I was actually relieved because I was worried that they'd remove underpants mode from Arthur. But no, he still gets knocked into his underpants.
Well, it's kind of a core gameplay mechanic.
It is. It's kind of the thing.
Well, I say that. I guess they could just have him be like in a t-shirt or something, but
Yeah, or just regular clothes or something boring. But nope. It's got to be really goofy looking underpants.
well, everybody's over-sexualized nowadays anyway, so
Yeah, there's
I guess
nothing
it's
sexy
okay.
about Arthur.
What, you don't think some 50-year-old man in his skimpies is sexy, Fern? What's wrong with you?
I know, right?
Sounds
Are we
very
talking about?
solid.
But
Alright. So yeah, it's Ghosts and Goblins. There is some other thing that Capcom hinted at, but I have no idea what it was, and they didn't say anything about it, so let's not talk any further about that.
Yeah, I do not remember any of the announcements, Fern, until you bring them up, and even then it's only passing because we just didn't get very much.
We didn't. We did not. Here's one I don't remember much about either. Fist. It was about a rabbit with a giant mechanical arm,
it was a game for furries.
I guess. But we again, no idea what the game is actually about, other than a mechanical arm rabbit. The mechanical arm is actually bigger than the rabbit himself, which is fun. But it seems like it's a misfit group of heroes or something that do a thing in a city.
There'll be rebels of some kind because for
Hmm.
furries it's always about rebels.
Almost always. So yeah, it's a game that we don't know anything about. Moving on, Evil West is a game we don't know anything about. I mean, apparently it's about zombies in the West or something, or evil in the West. Perhaps.
It's about zombies. It's a zombie game.
Yeah. Who's actually making it? Let me see if I can actually dig anything at all up about the Evil West. Let's see. Gotta find the right bits. Nope, can't find anything about it. Not with a very, very quick look. Yeah, all they showed is a very slick trailer of a guy walking down a western street shooting demons and zombies and things. That's pretty much it. Here's another franchise that needs to die. Evil Dead.
I don't know.
I
Evil
don't
Dead.
know. I think that Bruce Campbell is still cool.
I mean, he is, but seriously, it's a franchise that pops up every now and again like a zombie.
But it doesn't take itself seriously, so I think it's fine.
Not even
Yeah,
remotely.
It's a comedy camp series.
I mean, it's a
But-
comedy camp series for old people now because there isn't anybody in the current generation who know anything about it. I've
Yeah.
never even seen the ones happen to know about Bruce Campbell.
I think I've watched some of the older ones, and the last time I actually saw Ash was in Poker Night at the Infantry 2, where he plays poker with GLaDOS.
I thought Gladys was the waiter in that one.
She's actually the dealer.
Yeah.
But- Yeah, and she's incredibly sarcastic about it. But he also plays against Claptrap, and somehow does not chainsaw him. So, yay. I mean, I like the
What year
Poker Night
did
games.
Borderlands 3 come out?
What's that?
What year did Borderlands 3 come out?
Last year?
Last year.
Yeah.
Last year.
When,
recent.
It was last year, but it was exclusive to consoles and Epic.
Right.
It got a Steam release this year.
Right.
And they went straight to the complete edition, of course. Although I believe you can buy the base edition as well. Because money.
It's always the monies.
Yep. Next is Endless Dungeon, set in the Endless Universe, the universe of Horatio. This is not, may I point out, Dungeon of the Endless, which is also set in the Endless Universe. Just to confuse everyone, they're doing another roguelike.
Well, you were successful. I'm confused now.
So yeah, it's your top-down action RPG type dealy, by the look of it. It's that they wanted to go for a more roguelite thing. I hate that term. Because it means nothing! I have to say though, that I guess she's a soldier class. Her shoulder pads are ridiculous. Like you've got the picture on the screen here, which showing those giant round orange shoulder pads. That art does not do them justice. They're enormous.
See,
Also, there is no Horatio. That I've seen. Horatio
How can
exists.
there
in the
be no
universe.
Horatio?
I don't know.
Horatio is all and all is Horatio.
All will be made beautiful, or will be made Horatio. Next, Crimson Desert. It is the prequel to Black Desert Online. So
That confused me. Like, is this? I couldn't get over the name, to be honest.
yeah.
It's like you changed the color of the desert to make me buy the game again. That's what you did.
Well, I mean, the Crimson Desert also exists in that universe,
Yes, that's true.
but it
But
is
they're still not very imaginative, I have to say.
no. So it's supposed to be a single-player game set in an MMO world. The problem with Black Desert is it's got this massive sprawling lore with all these details and political intrigues and all this stuff. But if you're in the West, all of that is crammed through Google Translate. Which means the optimal way to play through the story is to mash the skip button. And then look at your quest log to figure out what on earth you're supposed to be doing.
No.
So, not high hopes for this, admittedly. Right.
This all sounds too hard.
Yes, it does. They've shown the gameplay, and the gameplay looks admittedly like Black Desert Online, very similar. But none of the other mechanics behind it, nothing on how the story works, and how the multiplayer works, anything like that. It's just, yeah, you kill dudes. Alright, Century of the Ashes is the next game. It's Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, it's Panzer Dragoon with a different name, and somehow it just seems less interesting. I'm not quite sure why.
Admittedly, yeah, like when the trailer came on and it was like rail shooter dragons,
I
like
thought it was gonna
Skyfox
be
with
Panzer
dragons.
Dragoon.
I thought it was going to be Panzer Dragoon. It looked exactly like Panzer Dragoon, but it wasn't.
But it's not
It's apparently
For-
not.
for reasons.
Let me see. Let me see if I can dig anything up about this. Is it actually a Panzer Dragoon game?
No, because there are Panzer Dragoon games already.
And there was one fairly recently from memory.
Yeah, and they're called Panzer Dragoon still.
And they are, in fact, Panzer Dragoon. Oh, and look at that. It's on Steam and in early access.
Oh, yuck.
Gross. Who would do this, Chief?
I mean, it's got... Wait a minute. Hang on. The trailer didn't actually say any of this, but the Steam page... Apparently it's an MMO
Oh,
of
gross.
a sort.
That
I'd
still
call it
sounds
closer
gross.
to a hero shooter, actually, probably. So,
This doesn't sound trustworthy at all. I don't
it's-
like the sound of that.
Panzer Dragoon meets World of Tanks, I guess?
You just managed to find a way to make it sound even worse.
I have a talent. What can I say? Now, the last couple of things. I'm going to just swap my slides here. There was this big high production trailer for Ark 2.
For what? You cut out.
Ark 2.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And-
but for some reason it had Vin Diesel.
And visual gimmick for those who actually are watching the stream, by the way. Yeah, Ark 2 starring Vin Diesel. And they want to make absolutely certain that you know that Vin Diesel is in it.
Why?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
I don't know. Apparently it's... the trailer made it look like it's this big story thing with characters, but that's not
I
what
thought it
Ark
was going to be
is.
like another. I thought it was going to be like another Horizon game or something.
Or something, yeah. Like, both Ark and Horizon have similar aesthetics, except one has robot dinosaurs, the other has actual dinosaurs.
One has
And
robot
more-
dinosaurs, and the other one apparently has Vin Diesel.
Yeah, actually,
Which
Ark also has
I'm-
robot dinosaurs sometimes.
I'm expected to care about.
Yeah, I was actually sitting there watching the trailer in case I... Hang on. Is that Vin Diesel?
He looks old.
He does, doesn't he? So, yeah, Ark 2 starring Vin Diesel. For reasons? Attached to that, and I'm going to leave that on there because it is also starring Vin Diesel for reasons, is Ark the Animated Series. It also apparently involves Russell Crowe somehow, by the way.
I can't imagine how it will be anything other than terrible.
I mean, the frame rate on the animation was a bit icky, and apparently this girl has a parasol that is not completely useless, so this is not Ark. I mean, if it was...
It's gonna. It's like I'm like 99.9% sure that there are going to be CalArts people involved in the production.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, unless it's an animated series about someone pressing berries into a dinosaur's rectum for 6 hours, it's not Ark.
Is that what you do in Ark? I've never played Ark.
Sadly, yes.
Why do you play that game?
I don't anymore. It is a game that has zero respect for its players' time.
Because that doesn't sound fun at all. That sounds horrible.
It is. Well, I'll play it every now and again when someone involves, but every time...
To remind yourself of how much you just don't enjoy pressing berries into a dinosaur's rectum.
Well, every time we do, we just crank the tame speed right up. As high as it will go. Which means the longest tame takes about half an hour. The whole idea behind it is, like, you're supposed to be on a big open world PvP server, and taming a dinosaur is supposed to be a massive investment, even though the thing could die at the drop of a hat, or fall through the world geometry, or any number of other things.
Starved to death like a dodo.
Yes.
Yeah, you died. The only things I've ever gotten out of Ark are people treating it like a bad version of Minecraft with and everybody co-oping even on PvP servers.
Well, yes and no. Pillar spam exists, or used to exist, where you just cover an island in pillars so nobody can do anything.
Wapple pillars?
Also, yes. So, I mean, Arc 2, maybe they'll fix some of that, but I have a sneaking suspicion.
I wouldn't hold
they
my breath.
won't.
Either they'll turn it into something that is very unlike itself and people won't like it, or they won't and therefore people won't like it.
Yeah. And the animated series is okay. Arc has a cool story behind it if you're willing to go look for it.
It's just going to be some more girl power pep, I'm sure.
Quite possibly.
Everything is these days.
Nah. Girl power's fine in small doses as long as they don't overplay it.
Well, the thing is, it is always overplayed, though.
It's almost always overplayed, yeah.
By almost definitionally, it's overplayed. Like, you can... like, people are willing to buy a character like, say, Toph from Avatar The Last Airbender
Mm-hmm.
because she's got a personality and quirks of her own and she's not all-powerful. People are not willing to buy, like, new Captain Marvel because she's an unbelievably unpleasant, hateful person whose only reason is to be for existing is to be more powerful than everybody else.
Yeah, it's the difference, I think, between old She-Ra and new She-Ra. Like, old She-Ra had that really thick veneer of just camp over the whole thing. Also, the knowledge that she was there strictly to sell toys. Whereas new She-Ra is just awful in every way. So yeah, that was the Game Awards. It existed.
It was dismal.
Yeah.
Please don't come back. But
But
you
it
will,
will.
won't you?
The Dorito Pope will return next year. For more disappointment.
Do you have to keep coming back, Doritos Pope? We never really asked for this.
As long as next year we have more than one game win all the awards.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Honestly, we need another awards ceremony. One that's actually... the awards are actually dominated by the players.
Every industry goes through this where we're like, we want an award show that actually reflects what the people that consume this medium enjoy, and then we get sad puppies and the drama around that.
Yeah, that existed. Still does. I think it's actually taken on a life of its own without Larry Correa at the helm now. Let me have a look. Is it still going?
It was up around awards time. It doesn't really have a great deal to do the rest of the year.
Oh my! I haven't even clicked the link, and already this is glorious. The Wikipedia entry for Sad Puppies. Sad Puppies was an unsuccessful right-wing anti-diversity voting campaign intended to influence the outcomes of the annual Hugo Awards.
That's the Wikipedia we know and love.
That's Wikipedia. Except Sad Puppies was entirely a success because it drew attention to the nepotism of the industry.
What's more, it somehow managed to make it even worse, so now nobody cares about anything that goes on there.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like I've been copping out this whole show, and it's not because I'm playing Devil May Cry, surprisingly. I'm trying to think of stuff to say about the Game Awards. It's just...
They were really a nothing.
They
usually are a nothing, but this time I felt like it was a nothing that was also insulting my intelligence.
Yes. In these troubling times.
Yes, in these troubling times.
So yeah, there was
They
other
brought
stuff.
the usual suspects. Like they brought in the old Reggie, and they brought in that drunk guy.
Which drunk guy?
I don't
All
know if he's actually always drunk, or whether that's just how he always is. No, the guy this time he was wearing a mocap outfit.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. I think he was just drunk. But Reggie was just there because he's Reggie. That was almost the entire reason Reggie was there.
Oh yeah, but I feel like Reggie sort of earned it.
He has, considering what he did for Nintendo in the West. And actually for customer relations as a whole for the games industry. It's a shame nobody actually learned from him.
Yeah. So I can't help but hope though that at some point before he gives up on this whole shebang, Jeff Keighley realizes that it would be nice if his awards had some sort of credibility behind them.
Yeah, like actually reflect what was popular and not just what the critics liked.
Because Keighley may be a Dummkopf and a sellout, but I think that he's actually kind of sincere about wanting the Game Awards to be good. But he just doesn't seem to understand what would make them good.
Yeah. Like,
I
cut
don't
out
know.
all this forced diversity nonsense. We don't need that.
I don't think that you can actually convince anybody of that yet, because they all think that you need to have forced diversity in order to be seen as a good person. Otherwise, you're going to be lynched.
Because that's what the portrait that social media actually portrays is.
Yeah. If you live on social media, you think that stuff is important.
Yeah, that's not how social media does not reflect how reality is.
Yeah,
Social media.
there's a certain amount of the culture is turning on that now, on that way of thinking, because it's so unproductive.
Mhm.
And as more and more people, like, because the people who advocate this sort of thing, they seed themselves into human resources and that as diversity officers and stuff in the bureaucracies of all sorts of companies. And what the end result of that, well, not the end result, but the midterm result of that is forcing everybody to go through diversity training and seeing what it actually consists of.
Yeah, continuing to try and fight a fight that was won decades ago.
The thing with diversity training is that it's like facially retarded. It's when you go in there, you immediately see the sheer degree of stupidity, and you can't swallow it anymore. And the most of the people that are running into these things are normies who don't live on social media, and so they run into this stuff which is held up as being, you know, very important and critical for the growth of industry X, whichever industry that might be, because it's all of them. And then they realize, hold on, they're spending $50,000 to bring in Ibram X Kendi to tell us about how we're all racists, and that's not actually a bad thing, because you need to understand this.
Yeah, you need to actually admit that you're a racist in order to be unracist.
Well, they believe being unracist is impossible, so you have to be anti-racist, which means that you be racist, but you be racist towards the people that they want you to be racist towards.
And now I have a headache. Thank you very much.
But there is the current orthodoxy. I know, because it's permeating the upper regions of the company I work for in Brussels and in Europe, particularly the European branches, where they basically worship at the altar of everybody is a racist. So the best you can hope for is to be racist towards people who deserve it, aka white people.
Yeah,
That's unironically what they're preaching. They aren't couching it in fancy language either.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's fight hate with lots and lots of hate.
Well, it's not even that. It's we don't like that we're not victims, so we're just going to say these people are, and you should go oppress them instead. Those people being white people.
Ugh.
It's gotten very naked. They used to hide behind the idea that it was actually about reducing racism, but it's not. Now they openly say, no, this is about raising racial consciousness and getting people to stick to their own tribes and hate all the other tribes.
Anywho.
It is not fighting a battle that has already been won. It is actively attempting to undo the battle that was won.
Yeah, it has reached that point.
That's why they're promoting segregation and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's come back around, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It passed.
That's the thing about revolutions. They always turn around again.
They revolve, perhaps?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Terrible jokes aside, we have a couple of little news articles before we start packing up.
I do.
So, well, I suppose while we're on this topic, let's talk about Twitch. I love this. It's beautiful.
Twitch is a bunch of simps. And thoughts. And what else do they ban?
You've skipped ahead. So
that's a pretty exhaustive list of things, actually.
Yeah, it is so silly. Let me find the actual article. Here we go. So yeah, Twitch decided to take it upon themselves to ban a whole bunch of words.
Because that's their job.
Yes.
That's what people pay them for.
Yes.
Yep. Gotta ban all them gamer words.
Let me see. Do we have an actual list here? Alright. So you're not allowed to use the word simp, incel, virgin. Also thought. So
yeah. Their social media manager must have got ticked off that people were calling her a Twitch thought or something, because she worked at Twitch and was probably also a thought.
there's a specific. I saw a specific policy update that says that it's a bannable offence to imply that the exchange of sexual favors is involved in a channel not being banned, which seems highly specific.
That is very specific.
It's like you know that the reason why all this stuff is being banned is because there's somebody high up in Twitch who's sitting there thinking, "Hey, I resemble these remarks."
Yeah. So, yeah. And naturally, because, internet, we have another article that followed up after this one. Usage of the word simp has rose 97% after the ban.
Yep.
It would. Like, these people have made their entire living on the internet and they don't seem to understand how the internet works.
Like, the Barbra Streisand effect goes back to what, like the year 2005 or something crazy like that?
I think it's older than that.
Yeah, like whenever Google Earth came out, or their satellite view of the world.
Let's see. Streisand effect. 2003.
There you go.
Yeah.
The term was coined in 2005, though. The event was in 2003.
Right, there we go then. So, yeah, old Streisand getting cranky because her house was visible on Google Earth.
Yeah, and so what did people do? Everybody searched her house on Google
Everyone
Earth.
went to look at her house. So,
Like,
yeah,
lady,
this is like peak internet. The moment you tell people on the internet that they can't do something, that is exactly the thing that they are going to do.
It's not even peak internet, though, really, is it? It's peak humanity.
It's peak human,
if
yeah.
You put a big red button saying absolutely do not under any circumstances press this button, how long do you think it will remain unpressed?
It depends on how long it takes for somebody to enter that room.
pretty much.
Yeah, the very first person who notices that button will inevitably press it, sooner or later. So, I wonder what Twitch is actually going to do on this one afterwards.
They've got a history of making policy changes and then silently walking them back when they realise the magnitude of retardation they've just engaged in. But it all depends on whether or not it's a big enough thing that they don't want to walk it back anymore. Because the reality is they probably don't want to be seen to be saying, okay, we are not going to consider calling people a thought a bannable offence.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to say that. They don't want to have to be the people that say using the word "thought" on our platform is okay, is a-okay.
Oh,
so
right.
they've sort of painted them. They've sort of painted themselves into a corner. I wonder if the OK symbol is banned. Actually,
probably. Apparently, one of
because remember it's a white supremacist dog whistle. Remember?
Yeah. Apparently, they've already backtreaded on this one, saying that they don't put a blanket ban on the word simp in casual banter. Because they had a streamer...
So what does get it banned then?
Being aggressive with it?
I mean, how can you aggressively call somebody a thought?
So hold on, doesn't that mean that this is a thought police thing then? Because they have to guess at your mood and intention behind what you say rather than taking what you say?
Correct.
So this is a thought crime then. Their conditions are thought crimes. This is like the reason why hate crimes are a terrible idea.
Yeah,
because
context is everything.
It's not even about context. It's about the fact that they are going to determine what you were thinking in a court of law. And they can't do that. It's impossible. You can't supply evidence for it.
Yep. Yeah, apparently a rather large big-name streamer decided she was going to have a discussion about the ban of the word simp, meaning that she was going to say it a lot, and did the whole thing in a bikini. So,
well, yes, that is how e-thoughts do.
That is. I just love the meta-ness of that. All right, who wants to talk? Actually, one of you guys can talk about this. HoloLive did the thing.
Or didn't do a thing.
Okay, they're refusing to do a thing.
Well, it's not so much that they're refusing. Last I saw, it's so Asus is a company that I think their headquarters is in Taiwan.
It is, but of course, since they're a massive global company that spans they've got offices in lots of companies, which for companies of that size are often pseudo-autonomous.
Yeah, and they have a branch in China, mainland or East Taiwan as well.
West Taiwan.
Yeah, West Taiwan.
North Taiwan.
So the West Taiwanese didn't like too much that Hololive was getting involved with ASUS, or at least the higher ups at ASUS didn't, or somebody didn't. I don't think the person's position was ever made clear. And they put the kibosh on some sponsored collaboration that Hololive was doing between ASUS and the Hololive girls. I don't know what the collab was actually supposed to be about. Nothing.
Wasn't it one of the big concerts or something?
Yeah, I think it was one of the.
For a concert, I think. Hello.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It was a pause, and I'm like, oh no, not again.
No, it was just me trying to remember.
Sad. Yeah. Just remembering that HoloLive cut their ties with China earlier after the whole Coco thing.
Which is not something that goes down well with China.
Yeah. They
tend to say this. It's not about, oh, well, you can't, you don't want to listen to us, therefore you cannot operate in our country. That's just a threat. What they actually want is to control you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, cutting ties would be fine with them, right?
Mm-hmm. You just go your own way and that's the end of it.
But that's not the point. That's not the point.
So, yeah, honestly, the Chinese lately have been... It's been hilarious, actually. If you tune into Australian news...
Special congratulations to Australia for managing to troll, inadvertently troll the entire nation of China, since, as most people should be aware of by now, Australia and China are in a bitter trade war, and China refused like $1 billion worth of coal shipments from Australia, and the energy infrastructure is absolutely collapsing now because they can't provide electricity, so they have to ration it.
Do you know what the most beautiful part of this whole stupid thing is? Is that I'll give you a list of things that Australia has actually done. That's it.
That was a very comprehensive list.
You did not permit yourself to be utterly controlled by the CCP, though.
Exactly. It didn't bow and didn't scrape. Australia just did nothing. Okay, so you want to put this on... Oh, you want to refuse our coal? Well, okay, we'll sell it to someone else.
Yeah. I think California is in desperate need of energy right now.
Yeah, but they won't take that dirty, dirty dinosaur poo.
Oh, that's right.
The thing is, China, most people have a tendency to think of them as sort of evil Machiavellian geniuses, but they're not.
No.
They are, on the world stage, they are basically bad-tempered teenagers.
As evidenced by the no you.
You got to remember, like, 20 years ago, China was a third world country.
They're still claiming
they had no technology to speak of and no ability to participate in the market of the world at large. They have no maturity as a nation, and they're communists, so they aren't ever going to get there. But the thing is that the only political strategy is bribery. That's it. The only thing they know how to do. And when bribery doesn't work, they don't know what to do. And so if you happen to have a country which has one or two people even who can't be bought off, that's a huge problem for them. And Australia is the sort of country who has people who would say F you just to watch the world burn. Yes. So out of sheer bloody mindedness, there are people in Australia that can't be bribed. It's not even a matter of integrity. It's just that because that would be doing what you want, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, there's a good amount of that.
So, yeah, Australia is sort of like the worst enemy of China in a way, because Australia will just do things because, and China can't. China honestly thinks that you can basically buy anybody off, and unfortunately, to a great extent, as America is showing us, you can buy off virtually anybody. But they really don't understand people who can't be bought off, because everything is a business transaction to them. Ironic for communists.
Meanwhile, on our side, we've got Australia, who one of our favourite national pastimes is screwing with foreigners.
Dropbears.jpg.
Drop bears and hoop snakes. Well, hoop snakes have kind of spread. They're in the South Americas now. and had been for a while. But yeah, so that's been a whole entertaining ordeal.
But yeah, so I'm expecting to see a lot more of this China throwing its toys out of the cot type of behavior as things ramp up. I've heard that relations between the UK and the China are starting to seriously degrade as well. Because
a lot of places it is, yeah.
Basically, because 5 minutes ago, the UK was basically going to turn over its entire infrastructure to Huawei, and due to pressure, basically from President Donald Trump by way of Donald Trump's friendship with Nigel Farage, basically, that entire plan, multi-billion-dollar plan, got shelved. So the perfect into the entire communications and espionage intelligence gathering infrastructure of the entirety of the Anglosphere just imploded as a result of Donald Trump. And they are unhappy.
Let's just say that, yes.
You get him, Geotus.
So, we were talking about video games, weren't we?
Well, we're talking about HoloLens specifically because this is it was a quarter in which China had been exerting their influence at length previously. So yeah, there was supposed to be Asus sponsored collab, and unfortunately, there is a lot of swing with the China branch of any given company that's a multinational, simply because they have that many people and that they represent an enormous market. That just puts a lot of money behind things. That's why so many companies in the games industry are basically owned by Tencent now, because they've just got all of that fake Chinese money to throw around. The idea being that, eventually they're going to take over the world before anybody has to call them on the value of their currency, since their currency is basically, human blood congealed into money. I mean, they openly use slave labor. So, and I'm not using that metaphorically. I'm not talking about Chinese sweatshops. I'm talking about actual slave labor. That's the country that China is.
Yeah. Anyway, back to video games. Or HoloLive. So yeah, that's been axed. Is that whole Asus collab?
It's not been confirmed that that's the reason for it, but I mean, it almost certainly is. And if it is, it won't ever be confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. They won't ever.
All right. Do we have any other articles?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Cyberpunk's been kicking around for the last couple of weeks, and some of the bugs have been fixed.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a bit of a trash fire, and that the most important part of this being a trash fire is that, as we talked about before its release, the speculation we had was that the bulk of the difficulties getting the thing out the door was the fact that they had committed to optimizing for last generation hardware.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the biggest fly in the ointment with the release of this game as well, in that people are getting it for their PlayStation 4 or whatever, and it looks like complete garbage.
When it works at all.
So, in response to this, Sony is pulling it from their store, which is a huge blow to CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
And a deserved blow given the low caliber of the product they produced. But I expect that a lot of people have been speculating about this, but I think that the simple reason for it is probably the volume of customer complaints that Sony is having to field is not justified to keep it on the store.
It's really, I think, unprecedented. I can't call to memory anytime
No
Sony
Man's Sky wasn't pulled.
No Man's Sky, Fallout 76 was not pulled.
Yeah, these games were not pulled, but I think that that the reason that Cyberpunk is being pulled is because Sony is catching the flack, because it's a PS4 specific problem in a lot of respects. Like, because the PS4 version is the worst version.
Yes.
Because nobody buys the Xbox One. And because the PS4 version is the worst version, Sony is probably having to catch a lot of the flack for this, and they just are not interested in dealing with this anymore.
Yeah.
Especially when there was a massive breakdown in communications where it seems like there was a unilateral declaration. I don't know. It seems unilateral. I have not seen anything from Sony to the contrary, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That the CD Projekt Red said that people can get refunds for Cyberpunk if they're not happy with it, and I guess nobody notified customer services at Sony.
Yeah.
So they end up having to deal with an awful lot of atypical requests for refunds outside the normal bracket for refunds, because Sony is famously difficult about giving refunds.
I got a refund out of them once.
The only time that they are willing to be generous with it is when they 100% have the backing of the company guaranteed.
Yeah.
Which is what they would theoretically have in a situation like this, but it seems like nobody passed the message along.
So it's gotten a bit messy. Yes.
Yeah, extraordinarily messy.
Yeah.
But the upshot of this is that there's been an unprecedented move to basically terminate the distribution of Cyberpunk on the PlayStation platform via Sony's store, which only goes to show what an absolute trash fire it is.
Yep.
Old Razorfist has been advocating the idea that it's actually the design decisions about Cyberpunk that are the main cause of it being bad.
No.
I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case.
No one's actually been really talking about the story or the gameplay or the design decisions.
To be fair, that doesn't mean that they're good either, because everybody is only talking about the most evident fact about it, which is that it's buggy as all get out and looks like trash.
I have actually... Yeah, if you go and look at YouTube now, by the way, and even if you just search for Cyberpunk, the first things that will come up are bug compilations, and they are brilliant.
See the P-Bug video. I think it's still
the
in live
P-Bug is
chat.
Great. Just walking around, continuing to pee. It's fine. It's fine.
I think the best part of the P-Bug is that it's a girl that's chain peeing walking around and peeing like a man with the male animation.
Yeah. Then there's also things like character models being stretched to 3 meters tall. Or characters with no heads. I mean, you name it, and it's there. I could go on with just the list of bugs, but there's so many, and it's brilliant.
Well, it's not brilliant at all, actually. It's quite a problem.
It is actually quite a problem. There was also the issue of the a sequence in the game. I believe it's called a brain something.
Brain dance.
Brain dance, sorry. Which actually triggered epileptic seizures for those who are susceptible to them.
Yeah, there's a rumor going around that the design of the lighting pattern that was implemented in the game was based on types of light patterns known to trigger seizures, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
I couldn't believe that that's true, because anyone who would do that would know that this is what would trigger seizures and would know not to put it in the game.
That would be monumentally stupid.
It would be unbelievably stupid.
I don't think that there are necessarily upper limits on human stupidity.
True. That is very, very true. So, I still want to play Cyberpunk. But I was going to give it a few months before I tried it. I'm going to give it a few more months now.
I think I'm going to wait for it to be on deep discount. I would rather play Skyrim again, thanks.
Well, when you're starting to look at waiting for 6 months, then you may as well just wait for deep discount. I won't go play Witcher again.
I could give Todd Howard more of my money.
It just works.
At this stage, thanks to all of the fan patches, it does kind of work.
It does, and well, the Fallout 76 is actually functional now, and has
I've
content.
Heard people saying that you can actually play the game now because it's more of a finished game.
There is actually a game to play now. Yes.
Yonks after release.
Yeah, once they put out the Settlers. The Wastelanders update, where it actually has a storyline now and can support NPCs.
And it's finally stopped wasting time doing things like developing Battle Royale mode.
Yeah, I think that's just there now and nobody plays it. I haven't looked at it in yonks, so maybe I'll look at it again.
To jump onto every single flash in the pan fad that comes by. It's not necessary. Don't do it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine not doing that.
So yeah, CD Projekt Red has apologized for Cyberpunk running like absolute arse on the PS4, and yeah, they're just offering refunds on it now. How well that's actually working at the moment, it will remain to be seen.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to finish on a high note. So,
Okay.
Nintendo did a direct last night. I didn't actually link it in the show host forum, where it's talking about their theme park in Universal Studios in Japan. And it's Shigeru Miyamoto channeling his inner Willy Wonka, basically. He's walking around this theme park and having the absolute time of his life just showing the thing off. If you want just pure joy, I would recommend just go and watch it. This is watching a 50-year-old man being incredibly happy about a child's theme park, and it is really cool.
Is he really only 50? I thought he was much older.
He's gonna be ancient.
How is he, actually? Let's see. Shigeru Miyamoto is
68.
68. Okay, so let's call it nearly a 70-year-old. But seriously, I was actually worried that the top of his head would fall off. He was smiling that much. So if you want something that's sweet and wholesome, just go watch Shigeru Miyamoto just be incredibly happy. And with that, I think that's everything we've got for the show.
Yeah. I feel really bad just because I couldn't think of anything to say in our Big Game Awards show for the last show of the year.
At least for the last half, we've just been watching Dante kick you around the arena.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm paying more attention to the show, so I'm not really trying to learn his moves. I'm just kind of processing it as visual information to be thought about later.
On the same fight that you were at the start of the show.
No. It is the one he's been on for the last half of the show, though.
Yeah, the Dante fight's really quite well. I don't know how tough it is because I've mostly been focusing on the show and just pushing buttons.
This is the thing I do every week.
Yeah. I feel like there should be more we have to say about this, some kind of insightful commentary, but we've already said everything about it that we could possibly say in previous.
There's even less to say this time than normal because it was more openly a farce because of the existence of Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just maybe next year we'll see something a bit better, but I very much doubt it. So, yeah. Closing comments for the year, shall we go on to?
Yeah. Oh, there was one thing we missed in the Game Awards before we forget.
Oh?
There was the thing that made me forget everything that actually happened at the Game Awards and have to go look it up before the show.
Alcohol?
The freaking Sephiroth announcement.
Oh, yeah. They did a thing about announcing how Sephiroth works and all his stages and all that.
Yeah, well, that's not the announcement I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one at the Game Awards itself.
Yeah.
Because you just couldn't find any information on what was actually going on at the Game Awards that didn't involve somebody squealing about Sephiroth.
Yeah. So Sephiroth in Smash kind of overshadowed everything.
People who are mad about it.
Why?
Because it seems like being mad about things is sort of what Smash fans do.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, I'm just happy that there's another villain in Smash. Let's just go with that.
I genuinely don't care about Smash characters.
I will play it as a party game.
That they eat up all the news when they show up.
I think caring about Smash's storyline is a defect. I understand why you would.
Well, the Smash storyline is, if you play Smash, then you don't need to go to Taco Bell because the people you play against will try and drive a car through you.
I think that you just don't need to go to Taco Bell, period, unless you want, the Descending Colon's revenge later.
I think I saw that on a menu board once.
The only safe thing to eat from Taco Bell is their chicken quesadilla, and that's if you must get Taco Bell and have to eat something, like somebody holds a gun to your head.
I had a pulled pork crunch wrap when I was there, and it was food, which seems to be more than you can say for the American one.
Yeah, no, the American one, they are not even considered faux Mexican food. They're just that thing that you go to because
They're just considered faux food.
It's faux food.
Yeah. The only reason anybody goes to Taco Bell is because it's way too late at night for anybody else to be open, or they're broke.
I've only got pocket change. What can I get?
Well, maybe you conceivably could if you're like really, really drunk enough to make it seem like a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the drunk people hang out there all the time. Ooh, I need to learn.
Yeah, the Taco Bell in Townsville is a pain to get to, and in order to actually get in there with your car, you need to go past the McDonald's.
Yeah, to get to our local Taco Bell, you have to go through a Chick-fil-A. So that poor Taco Bell.
I'm hungry now. I don't want to go the few more meters to get to the Taco Bell.
Is it like cheaper or anything?
It's cheap. Cheap-ish.
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
Taco
like-
Bell's cheap, or it used to be. It's not so much anymore. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but at some point fairly recently, Taco Bell just stopped being cheap.
So
But it
people.
Yeah, it used to be you could get like a full Nacho Bel Grande chicken quesadilla and three tacos for like $8.
They were probably told to put actual food into their food.
I guess if you're not just grinding up the tiles on the floor to serve as beef, then you got to spend money on real food that might cost a bit more.
Nah, that's Subway.
I hate Subway. Subway is everything about them. Every one I've been to is awful.
Subway is weird here. Like we've got actual meat and actual vegetables in the food, but then you've got the sauces, and they will always put sauces on them, and those sauces are just sugar with maybe
Really?
some
They don't
tomato
ask
or something in them.
I don't know. Everything is custom built, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. But all of their ingredients taste like ass.
Yeah. Oh, they taste fine mostly. But yeah,
I haven't been to one in a very long time.
so sweet. All their sauces are so sweet.
We just need to avoid ones like barbecue sauce and that.
You just don't have sauce.
Is- Barbecue sauce is basically caramel.
Most barbecue sauces are so good.
In New
Not the
Zealand,
Subway
there's generally a problem with difficulty getting decent barbecue sauce in New Zealand. None of it tastes like barbecue sauce. All of it tastes like sugar and gelatin.
Yeah, bad ones do.
The worst ones are the ones that come on takeout pizza, like Domino's or Pizza Hut. That most unbelievably sugary barbecue sauce.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, we need to wrap up.
Yep, I'm attempting to end the show right, but to do it, judgment. No. All right. All right. I think we're done, folks. We'll see y'all next year, I guess, because next week is Christmas.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Following week is New Year's. So me and Vol have been talking about doing a political show, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what the topics are going to be. So if we can put that together, we'll get that out sometime, probably before Christmas or this week at some point. So you can look forward to that, and we'll drop it in the announcements channel like usual. And anything else for us in us up for the year?
Nope. I might go watch that Nintendo again, just to watch Shigeru be incredibly happy and tell Toad to shut the hell up.
All right.
Because he does do that.
Okie doke. All right, folks. I think we're done. We'll see you next year. Sayonara. Bye-bye.